Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to Alien Eyes Photos Industry Talk. All things media, the introspective, inspirational business podcast. And today, I'd like to speak about relationships here in episode 8. Relationships, they're very important, especially in entrepreneurship and life in general, business, romantically. And I'm gonna touch a little on each. Let's start with friendship. You want to be there for other people. You want other people to be there for you in a genuine way. Be respectful. Have them look out for you when you're not around. You're in different spaces and places. Your name is brought about, or your image, or your being, or your work. We got to look out for each other and really have that open communication, with our friends, especially the ones we really, really call friends, like our best friends. Because that's important because, 10 years being good friends, best friends, close friends, of knowing each other and then became friends. And then one little situation happened and then it just falls apart. So I think having that open communication, especially in the business sector, when friends are business partners and do business together, that's very important, very critical. And I know of a lot of people, they do get in business with their friend or their friend or their family member. And, sometimes it start off rocky and not kind of the destined outcome or the desired outcome. But I think communication kind of trumps all of that and having that mutual respect for each other and really having that clear goal collectively. And even with relationships, romantic relationships, I may say, you have to communicate. And I could just about say that for any relationship you have to communicate. With business partners, you have to communicate. The people you meet at networking events, you have to communicate. You at a conference, you got to communicate. You're teaching, coaching, you got to communicate. So no matter what relationship it is, communication by far is one of the best, success methods, and I'll say not only success methods, but what keeps the relationship thriving and flowing and good standards and positive mind states. Because you don't want to have negative intentions towards relationships or the people you're around. Good thoughts, good experiences, good moments, great moments, magnificent moments, times, all that. And it takes practice, you know. Nothing happens overnight or in a week, but that constant communication and maybe some things change on one person's end that the other person didn't know about. Like, I don't like this anymore. And they didn't communicate that to the other person, but they still, think they like this specific thing, whatever that may be. And, you have to communicate that on both ends. Maybe I'm not into sports anymore. Like that's just not my thing. I want to be full-fledged in investing. So I don't want to hear about sports. I don't want to go to sports games. I'm not talking about me, by the way. I love basketball. The Cleveland Cavaliers, if you really want to be exact. Um, but yeah, I'm a big basketball fan, especially Cleveland sports, any Cleveland team. But you know, first with the Cavs, and then everything else is kind of secondary. But yeah, but what if like 10 years from now, I may not even care about basketball anymore? You know, I'm older, I'm mature, you know, I'm probably personally me, speaking about investing, I might be deep in my investment. You know, I don't have time for sports, so but also, you know, have that luxury, that hobby, that you know, that gateway thing, whether it's art, sports, traveling, podcasting, teaching, whatever that may be, you know, have that, you know, for you. And I want to touch about business partners. The more, the more you work with someone, the more you communicate with someone, the more you strategize and build, like literally build together, the better it may, the better, I ain't gonna say better it may be, the better it will be. And I've, you know, worked with a lot of different people. Like I said, I've been in various realms of media and collaborated with a lot of different people. A lot of people I could call my business partners, or was in groups with, or teams, organizations, one-on-one partners. Like we not maybe legally, but formed a partnership. And you know, sometimes it doesn't always work out. Sometimes it doesn't work out in the sense that time just takes its spot, that it's at a standstill. Not that the relationship or the partnership didn't work out, but it's just like the partnership is at a standstill because one person may be deep in their personal journey, or the other person may be deep in their personal journey or business or whatever they may be. And it's like there's no time to kind of come back and do what we did collectively. And that's fine too. Actually, I think that's one of the better ways that I like to kind of separate. You know, we're both thriving, not, you know, an argument or a disagreement, or we want to go, you know, do this and we're not, you know, communicating certain things. So I like when, you know, both parties are thriving and it's like that natural separation. And every now and then, you know, may collab again, but maybe not on that full throttle partnership level, but you know, a light collab, you know, something you do together, or even just hanging out, catching up. How can we help each other? Type of thing. So, business partners, and as far as relationships are key. If you know are entrepreneur or business owner, and you really want to take it to another level as far as collaboration, you know, you have to start off with a good business partner, especially with networking. You know, y'all bounce off each other. You know, oh, you doing alley oops and all that to each other. Sorry, audio has stopped. I'm like, oh. And yeah, but I also want to touch on like how many mistakes in relationships do you get? Like for a friend, if I say I don't I don't want to do something, or yeah, I don't want to do something, we do it anyway. Like, that's your thing, that's not my thing. As far as like going to a hockey game, and I don't care about hockey, I'm just doing it because you're my friend, but we never get to do what I want to do, type of thing. So, or if, do something they don't like or agree with, how many times is too many? I mean, naturally they say two is too many, but that's also something to think about. I mean, not just friends, but with all your relationships. And I know we're not all perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I struggle with a lot, still struggle with a lot. I mean, I struggle with communication, and the biggest thing I speak about is communication. And me being an introvert, I love my solo time, my quiet time, my downtime, just my inner thoughts. I'm always thinking about a lot, always a lot on my mind. I don't really have much time to myself, so when I get that time, I love taking that time and being in that time. And I think the biggest relationship you should have ever is with yourself. That self love, that self gratitude, that self expression is big, and that would get you far, very far in life. That self confidence, that self worth, that self image. What you see and what you think all the time about yourself usually becomes yourself over time. And one of the things that I'm learning with my self love journey was approaching them almost 10 years now. More so 5 on more of a heavier level, but close to 10. Um, it looks different each day. It really, really looks different each day. And sometimes I look in the mirror, it's like the only thing I want to do is find myself. And to be honest, most days it's harder to find yourself. Some days you're right there, like boldly right there. But each day you treat yourself with love, you treat yourself with respect, you know. What fuels you, what desires you, feed yourself that. Remember your purpose, your motivation, your motives. Sometimes you cannot let emotion get in the way, especially in business. There's no emotions with numbers. Numbers don't have emotions. These robots don't have emotions, but you do. And the biggest and the greatest relationship you will have is with yourself. You yourself. And I have an affirmation track I will link. I'm actually gonna link it to all episodes because I think it's just monumental and powerful. I will start talking about it more, and also release additional affirmation tracks upon request. If I get the request, I will put it out faster. But of course, if I don't hear any feedback and then they're satisfied with the one I'm about to present to you now, then that's fine as well. But definitely give me some feedback if you love these affirmations. If you want affirmations in the specific realm or about something in particular, definitely let me know the feedback. I'm open to requests. I'm an artist at heart. I have a music background, poetry, a little music production, and now I'm into more of the visual space with photography, event photography, video production, podcasting. Kind of have my feet in a little bit of everything. author, and like the list, goes on as far as that artistry. I'm a writer at heart. I love reading, and those things are reflected upon my spirit. I love a good book, especially a good business book, things about mindset, and that's what I reflect to my audience. But going back to the affirmations, when I talk about being your greatest relationship, you are in relationship with yourself, literally. And people forget that first because one is a number, zero is not. One is, and you are one. So, what relationship do you have with yourself? But I always say, be good to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Be blessed with yourself. Like you really have to do these things. Really take time for you and that self-maintenance. And I'm a big believer of inner peace and an affirmation. Never let anyone disrupt your inner peace. Never ever let anyone, not even yourself, disrupt your inner peace. Inner peace is everything. And I say, never ever let anyone, not even yourself, disrupt your inner peace because sometimes us ourselves can disrupt our inner peace, our mental mind state, and introduce and attract negative thoughts out of nowhere when they don't have to be there. Or these negative emotions. I try not to let the outside world affect me too much. I know a lot of things going on in politics and the presidents and the different parties and then inflation and it's just the celebrity drama, the relationships. It can even be family drama, work drama. You know, it's it gets difficult because outside of self, next is my children and my daughters. Then relationships and family, and then that next tier, friends outside of the best friends, then associates, and then just the world in general. I do care for the world, but I care for myself first. So if I can find peace in myself before I, hint that something's going to go wrong or negative, I listen to myself. Like I could have avoided it. I felt it in my body, my mind, and spirit that something is about to go wrong. And I didn't listen to myself. Now I'm dealing with a situation that's ruckus and just a disaster and chaos. And it's taking me out of my hookup, my positive mind state, my positive being, my energy. Now I'm dealing with this. And I really could have been dealing with myself and my energy and my peace and growing myself and watering myself and letting myself bloom and blossom and, you know, grow the way I need to grow into the tallest tree that I could be, planted in the ground and the earth. You got to look at yourself as a tree, water and nurture yourself. Stand firm in the ground, in the soil. Continue to water yourself, continue to grow, continue to learn, continue to communicate. It takes time. It does. It really does. But also with relationships, I think about the number eight, and that's why I wanted this episode to be number eight. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, let me know the feedback. I really want to tailor these episodes. You know, first off, they're my, inner journal, uh, inner entrepreneur journal. Deep diving in my mind and how I think and how I approach things. But yeah, the number eight is like, it's continuous, it's affinity. And that's how I think about relationships. And it's constantly touching each other. It's, that figure eight and like skating. It's always all touching each other. It's on a big curved oval. Um, yeah, this is episode eight of Alienized Photos Industry Talk. We have made it to the end. Yes, Alienized Photos Industry Talk on most streaming podcast platforms. And if you want more information about me or Alienized Photos event photography, you can visit alieneyesphotos.com. That's Alien Eyes with a Z, Photos with a S, alieneyesphotos.com. And you can follow me on all social media at Alien Eyes Photos. That's Alien Eyes Photos on all social media. Almost social media. I try to get away from a lot of them, but if you think I'm on a platform or want to find me, look up Alien Eyes Photos, and that's eyes with a Z, photos with a S. Also follow me on Fanbase at Alien Eyes Photos. Yes, Fanbase. That's where I'll be holding a lot of my content, especially exclusive. And also, if you want some more, these talks, behind the scenes type of things, and more of my deeper dive talks, really kind of even go further, further some of these conversations or even new conversations and topics. So yeah, definitely follow me on Fanbase, and that's at Alien Eyes Photos. Yeah, I think that's everything. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Keep following, keep sharing the media out. I encourage you to send this out to a hand full of friends. So if you have two hands, that's 10 fingers. So send this to 10 friends, 10 colleagues, 10 business partners, people in your organization. Say, I really appreciate this episode, and, I really want us to think in this way. I'll send this out to 10 people. Again, if you want to book or for more information, visit alienizedphotos.com. And this is episode 8 with photographer Jackson, bringing you Alienized Photos Industry Talk podcast. Episode 8 in the books. We are out. Until next time, y'all. Peace, love, and blessings. Always. We have done it.